So I think Hurricane's going to have a hard time defending him tonight.
You talked about gaining confidence. That's one thing that I've liked from him. Is every game I've watched, he's gained more and more confidence, and he's starting to see himself as the best player on the floor, as somebody that is causing a problem for the defense.
Well, and you can even see that at the free throw line. His free throw percentage is going up, and I think he's getting confidence there too.
Real quick, we didn't mention the starting lineup for Hurricane. It's number 0, Kevin Bunn, number 5, Luke Wright, 10, Kenneth Moore, 12, Jack Reeve, and 45, Owen Iloa. And the most predictable outcome of the game, Lyman won the jump, and Snow Canyon moves into their offense. Munson with the ball at the top of the key, enters to Lyman in the short wing, attacks baseline, and is able to draw a quick foul on 45, Owen Iloa. Snow Canyon will inbound from under their basket. Walker Morrison looking to initiate the inbounds play. Ball is entered to Munson. Munson attacks off the dribble. Back to Simmons. Simmons in the short corner pulls up and knocks it down. 2-0 lead for the Warriors early.
You know, that's where Lyman's getting better, is those mid-range jumpers, and you can just see that he's getting confident in those as well. Doesn't need to be around the basket to score.
Such a threat because he can also pull those bigger defenders away from the basket and open up lanes for the guard. Hurricane moving the ball around the perimeter, looking to get a lot of movement in their offense, a lot of ball screens. Initiating their offense from the wing, enter it to the high post, to the opposite wing down to the corner. Attacking baseline, looking for a reverse layup. Nice move on the reverse layup from number 12, Jack Reeve. And it looks like an early foul will be called on Walker.
Yeah, they did give that one to Walker Morrison. That was actually a really nice shot underneath the hoop there and reverse layup in.
Looks like Walker was a half step late on that rotation. It looked like Snow Canyon was okay with the penetration going to the baseline with the expectation that it would eventually be cut off by that backside defender. Looked like Walker was just a half step late. Simmons and Childs fight for the rebound, and Simmons comes away with it. Munson, outlet to Munson, and he brings the ball across half court. Munson attacking, swings over to Morrison. Morrison to the free throw line to Paladis. Paladis brings the ball to the other side of the floor, looking to attack his man off the dribble. Drop pass to Munson. Munson around to the elbow, looking to attack his man off the dribble. Back out to Paladis at the top. Paladis from long range. There it is, Brian. Here's your moment.
Boom goes the dynamite.
Boom goes the dynamite. Paladis from the volleyball line. Three-pointer early. Hurricane moves the ball back across half court and is back into their offense. They enter it to the wing, and they've got multiple ball screens coming, causing some confusion on Snow Canyon's switching. Snow Canyon in transition. Ball's moved up to Childs in the corner. The ball's deflected away from him from behind, and now Hurricane returns in transition. And Walker tried to beat the man to the spot to draw a charge, and unfortunately he was late, and he will pick up his second.
Yeah, it looks like Isaac Lyon will be checking in for Walker with those two quick fouls.
Walker's frustrated, but I can't say that I disagree with either one of those foul calls. I think they were the right call. He was just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
We saw what we were talking about a little bit earlier. It looks like one of the things that Hurricane's going to try to do offensively is they enter the ball to a wing, and then they send multiple ball screens up there, waiting for the Snow Canyon defender to either switch or high hedge. And so it's creating a lot of communication necessity for Snow Canyon right there. So that'll be something to look out for throughout the rest of the game.
Yeah, my guess is they'll figure it out here towards the middle of this first quarter. Hurricane's already gone to the full court press.
Yeah, they're running a 1-2-2 trap, and one of the things that my coach always used to say is you should hope that teams try to press you, because press breaks lead to layups, and sure enough, Snow Canyon breaks the press with relative ease, and they enter the ball to Lyman, but he's fouled on the catch, so we don't get free throws on that. Ball's entered. Paladis enters it down to Lyman. Lyman looked like he was trying to establish a pivot foot and hit Childs on the cut, but he may have dragged his pivot foot, and he's called for a travel. Coach Meacham is not so sure about it.
Looks like Lyman kind of got caught in between going to the hoop and wanting to kick it out, and just got his steps
One of the
tied
things
up.
I'd like to see right there is sometimes, I mean, I like his move, his aggressive move to the basket, but sometimes a reverse pivot right there can create the space that he needs to make that pass. Hurricane on offense moves the ball, finds Luke Wright in the corner, who sinks a three, and now Hurricane assumes their first lead of the game.
You know, Hurricane's playing pretty loose, And I think Snow Canyon's playing a little bit tight right now, but Hurricanes just playing with nothing to lose, and they're just, putting up the shots and hustling down the court.
They're coming after it. They're forcing the action a little bit, and just caused a little bit of foul trouble. Here's some more of that ball screen communication we're talking about. Ball's entered into the post, and Iloa over the top of Simmons with a couple of pump fakes, puts the ball in. Munson bringing the ball across half court, looking to settle things down for the Warriors. Munson over to Lyon. Lyon from long range. Shot goes long, and Hurricane with the board and back on offense. That's one of those shots, Brian. I'm not necessarily don't want him to shy away from the threes, but that early in the offense, it seems like we might be able to get a long three at any point in our offense. Maybe we want to work the ball around a little bit more to force Hurricane to play a little bit more defense.
Yeah, it seems like they're giving us that shot and daring us to take it, and as of yet, we haven't really hit it.
That shot's going to be waved off. Isaac Lyon sees the play developing. The ball side defense had actually a breakdown, and that was a great screen and roll from Hurricane. Lyon set up under the basket to draw a charge, and that's a difference between high school basketball and basketball at kind of the higher levels. They usually have that restricted circle underneath the basket, but in high school that doesn't exist. So if you shoot the layup and then land and hit the defender, that's still going to be an offensive foul.
Yeah, in the higher levels, they give you a zone to come down as the shooter, and in high school, you don't.
Got a couple of subs checking in for the Warriors. We've got Bowen Hammer, I believe, and Cole's brother.
That's
Warner.
Will Warner.
Will Warner. There we
sophomore.
go. He's probably tired of being called Cole's brother, but I forgot. So.
Yeah. So we've got 3 sophomores, a junior, and a senior on the court right now.
Shot is blocked by the Warriors, and they are now in a secondary break situation. Munson attacking off the dribble, kicks to the opposite corner to Hammer. Hammer puts up the 3, little bit long. That's not a bad shot right there. Penetration, kick out, wide open 3.
That's a good look. He just has to hit that.
Real quick, we'd love to give a shout out to our sponsors that make this broadcast possible. Boulevard Home and Hammond's Dental, along with Ants Dentistry, Snow Jensen and Reese Law Firm, Brent's Interiors, Flooring America, Genesis Dental and Building Solutions, and Levitt and Associates and Bucks Ace Hardware, Simply Wisdom Teeth. We make it simple.
Yeah, Bucks Ace Hardware is building a new store out there by the new Harmons out there in Santa Clara. Should be pretty nice across the street from Cafe Rio. So.
Oh, yeah.
Always loved Ace Hardware.
That coming up. I'm just excited for things to come up around town that I can go visit on my lunch break from Snow Canyon High School.
Things that are a little closer.
Yeah. Initial reaction in this first quarter, we've had a little bit of an up and down game, but Hurricane taking a 4-point lead. Is this a little bit surprising to you, Brian?
Yeah, it is a little surprising. Like I said earlier, I feel like Snow Canyon's playing a little tight, a little stiff, whereas Hurricane has nothing to lose, really. And so they're just putting shots up and letting it all out there.
Yeah, and it also looks like Snow Canyon maybe like playing into the hands of the Tigers a little bit, and that they are kind of willing. I mean, Snow Canyon's a great shooting team from the perimeter, but it looks like they've always had their success starting on the inside, establishing Lyman, and then playing off of that. And right now we've had a couple of touches for Lyman, but he's only taken 1 shot and he made it.
Plus Hurricane's pushing the ball. They're trying to take advantage of that fast break, and we're a little late getting back on defense, and that's why we have some of the fouls we have.
Good deflection from Will Warner, almost led to a fast break. Bounced off of Isaac's head as he was looking to close out on the person he was defending. Hurricane recovers the ball, and they're moving in a 5-out system with a lot of movement, a lot of screens, and a lot of back cuts. And they had an opening right there, but the pass was just too far ahead of the teammate for Hurricane, so it will be a turnover. And Snow Canyon will inbound the ball. Hammer will inbound the ball to Munson. And Hurricane has pulled off the press, and it looks like they are back into a man-to-man set. Munson over to Warner with a drop pass. Warner over to Hammer. Hammer down the line. Lyon enters it to Simmons. Simmons kicks it to the opposite corner to Munson, and he drills it. Great ball movement, what we just talked about, Brian, inside out. The ball went into Simmons. He was double-teamed. He immediately knew where to throw it.
Yeah, and that's the key is get it into Lyman, and he'll either have a little quick turnaround shot, and if they double team him, just kick it out and get a 3 like that.
Hurricane back into their offense, looking to move the ball around the perimeter. Ball's at the top of the key, now back, dribbled over to the opposite wing and reversed back to the same side of the floor. Strong attack from Hurricane on the baseline. 2 missed shots, but 2 offensive rebounds. Ultimately, Hammer finally pulls the ball down, and Munson pushes the ball down the floor.
Hurricane fans aren't very happy right now. They feel like they're not getting some of the calls.
I feel like there's some home cooking here. They weren't really happy. Ever since the offensive foul was called under the basket, it's been a pretty steady dose of frustration from the Hurricane fans. Simmons takes a measured move, liked it. He put his body into his defender. The only nitpick I would have is that he finishes that move with a drop step into the middle of the paint instead of down toward the baseline, but puts up the shot. It goes a little bit long. Hurricane now back on offense. Hurricane at the ball on the near side of the floor, skipping it over to the opposite side, threatens a 3, thinks better of it, reverses the ball to his teammate. Ball on the wing right now, back to the top. Now to the opposite wing, and Lyman is giving his player some space. Looks like he's not looking to shoot from the perimeter right there.
Yeah, look, Hurricane's just moving the ball around, trying to get something open.
I think the Hurricane coach might want the center to shoot that perimeter shot. Yeah, that's what's happening right now. Shot is off, but on that ball is taken away from Lyon after the rebound. He did not see the defender waiting for him, and Snow Canyon is back on defense. Hurricane created an extra possession. Less than a minute to go in a relatively low-scoring game. 1-point lead for Hurricane over Snow Canyon. Munson defending on the perimeter. Hurricane looking to initiate their offense. Ball moves to the opposite wing. And Hurricane will take their second timeout of the game. That's something to look for in the future. Coaches only get 5, and they don't reset at halftime. So Coach Langston for Hurricane has already called 2 quick timeouts. Another shout out to some of our sponsors, Holbrook Asphalt, St. George Dixie Motors, and Nets on Fire. Thank you all for supporting this broadcast and making this possible. Listeners, please purchase their products and use their services so that that sponsorship is worthwhile. Also, hey, everybody share out that the game is on right now and get as many people watching this thing as possible. We'd love to have, we have a goal to get over 200 viewers as soon as possible, so get your family members, get everybody else to watch this.
Looks like Brenton Childs is checked in.
He's back in the game, and did Pilatus just come back in as well?
Yeah, Bowen Hammer checked out.
Yeah.
Pilatus is back in.
All right, Isaac Lyon defending on the perimeter. Hurricane initiating their offense. Number 11 for Hurricane is Cruz Gardner. He's a 6'6" junior. And during the last possession, the Coach Langston was kind of getting after him to be an offensive threat and shoot from the perimeter. We'll see if that's something that happens. Some good ball movement from Hurricane, some good cutting. The ball is entered into Cruz, and on his way up, looks like Isaac Lyon reached in to try to deflect the ball and is called for the foul.
Apparently they thought that was a shooting foul. I guess they gave him continuation. So it looks like he was on the ground when he got fouled.
Yeah. So Cruz will be at the line. And his first attempt is a little bit long. Munson checks back in for Lyon. And there's 21 seconds to go, so we'll see if Snow Canyon holds for a single possession or if they want to get down the floor quickly here. Second free throw's up, and it's long. Simmons with the rebound, outlets to Childs. Childs gets it back to Munson. Munson brings the ball across half court.
Snow Canyon's going to hold for last shot of the quarter here. Try to work it around and get somebody open to take this final shot.
Munson attacking off the dribble, steps back, puts up a three-pointer,
nice.
Drills it with about 2 seconds to go, and gives Snow Canyon the lead at the end of a quarter. So relatively hard-fought quarter there, Brian. Things weren't necessarily going the way Snow Canyon wanted to, but they walk away with a 2-point lead after one.
Yeah, so 11-9 for Snow Canyon. I feel like the last minute and a half of that quarter, Snow Canyon started to loosen up a little bit and get in their rhythm, get in their game. And I think we're going to see some good things here in the second quarter.
One of the things I'm looking at is Hurricanes' offense is very active and it's going to test the discipline of the Warriors. We've got, only 3 fouls were called on us, but Walker Morrison has 2 of those, and I'm sure Coach Meacham is going to want Walker to be a contributor before halftime. He's not going to sit him the entire first half. So one thing that Walker's going to have, and all of us, all of the Warriors are going to have to pay attention to, is moving their feet defensively, communicating, and maybe anticipating some things. We saw a couple of flashes where we were able to get some deflections, and now I'm looking to see if we can get some deflections that lead to fast break opportunities defensively.
The nice thing is in that first quarter, Munson kind of took over a little bit, and he could see that some of the other teammates were struggling with their shots a little bit, and he's got 2 3-pointers, so he's definitely showing some senior leadership there.
In fact, 9 of the 11 points for the Warriors came from the 3-point line. Pilatus hit that deep one early, and then Munson hit 2 after that. Snow Canyon starts the second quarter on defense. Hurricane, as predicted, moving that ball offensively. It looks like one of the things that that Snow Canyon is doing is they are switching ball screens except for when it's Lyman's person that's setting the ball screen, and then they're having to fight through it. I think that might be a strategic decision by Hurricane to try to force Lyman into those ball switches, and that actually stagnates Snow Canyon's defensive rotations a little bit. Ball's entered to Simmons in the short corner, puts up the shot, misses it, gets his own rebound, goes back up, and draws contact on Cruz Gardner from Hurricane.
The lid's on the bucket a little bit for Lyman right now, but he's working hard, which is a good sign. He's not giving up on the shots, and he's trying to get a rebound and take it to the hole. So
well, and this is one of those things that hopefully the Warriors recognize here is when things aren't going so well or so easily, getting to the free throw line is a way to establish your rhythm, and it's also a way to break Hurricane's rhythm. I want to give a shout out to Cruz Gardner. He's battling hard with Lyman down there. He's looking a little frustrated coming off the court because of the foul called on him. But I think that's something that Snow Canyon should pay attention to.
And he's got 2 fouls as well, so I'm sure he's a little frustrated.
Yeah. Lyman makes both free throws and extends the Snow Canyon lead to 4 points. Great defense by Snow Canyon. The rotation was perfect by Morrison. We just mentioned him. He's back in the game. Ball's to Pilatus in the wing. He swings it up to the top to Morrison. Morrison over to Childs. Ball screen from Morrison. It's switched by Hurricane. Munson gets the ball on the opposite side. Attacks off the dribble. Kicks back out to Morrison. Morrison with the dribble handoff to Childs. We got a down screen for Munson. Munson with the ball, getting a ball screen from Simmons. And we're reversing it back to the other side of the court to Pilatus. Pilatus looking to enter it to Simmons and reverses it to Munson instead. Munson attacks off the dribble, moves it to Morrison. Morrison over to Childs. Childs to Simmons at the top of the key. He lobs it up. Morrison, a great job. Great offensive play. Ooh. That's almost one of those plays that you don't want to decline the penalty right there. But basically, Morrison did a great job of sealing on the reverse side of the floor. And instead of trying to force the ball into Simmons, Simmons pops up to the top of the key. He can see over the top of the defense, throws a lob pass. Morrison holds the seal and is able to catch the pass through a nice little pocket pass to Childs. But on the pass, he was fouled. So no scoring opportunity for the Warriors right there.
I don't know if you called it, but number 25 checked in for Snow Canyon. That is...
no, that's Zach Call.
Zach Call's in, yeah.
Yeah. Zach Call making an early entry into the game, and he spells Lyman for a brick. Lyman didn't come out at all in that first quarter and the first 2 minutes of the second quarter. What? Oh, was there a foul? Oh, and Call was called for the foul right there. So Hurricane with the ball, back on offense, the Warriors on defense. And we're going to see if there's any adjustments to the Warrior defense, because I believe with Call in the game, they probably will switch every ball screen now. So there won't be this one player that slows down the defensive rotations, this one switch that's not happening. Pilatus guarding in the corner, attack to the baseline, skipped over to the opposite corner, another attack baseline. Munson jumps the pass, and Call jumps on it and calls a timeout real quick to save the possession for the Warriors. Great hustle play. What do you think about plays like that, Brian? What does that do for your team when you see somebody like Call, hasn't gotten a lot of time, jumps in the game, and immediately makes something happen like that?
Well, you love it because it shows that that particular player is willing to do anything for the team, and if that means getting on the floor and getting dirty and maybe getting a bruise here and there, then it's worth it.
And then for a game like this where it's been a little bit stagnant offensively and things haven't been going, the possessions matter more than ever since you're kind of scratching and clawing for every point that you're getting. So having somebody like that come in and scrap for a little bit and get that ball and then get a save the possession with the timeout, that's a play that can maybe turn the momentum a little bit and get you fired up.
Yeah, both teams are working hard right now. They're trying to push each other, and they're moving around. And
one of the things I think the key for the Warriors offensively right now, one of the things that I'm noticing is on every possession in which we've earned points, they've been relatively long offensive possessions. The team's really patient. They move the ball to multiple sides of the floor. They enter it inside and then move it to the outside, and they either get an outside shot or they're drawing a foul underneath the basket. And so that's one thing I think early in the game, I think Snow Canyon maybe thought that they were going to be able to run away with it, and so they were coming down and shooting quick in offensive possession.
It's interesting that you mentioned that because I was watching the BYU St. Mary's basketball game the other night, and the commentators there mentioned that St. Mary's really milks the shot clock because their perception was it's easy to play defense for 5 or 6 seconds, but to play defense for 30, 35 seconds, it's tough.
It's really hard.
And so that's why when we extend that, there's no play clock here, but when we extend our offense, it's harder to play defense.
That was your football coach coming out there calling it a play clock. We call them shot clocks.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's all right, though.
Shot clocks, play clocks.
Yeah, they're all the same.
I wish they had a shot clock in high school, to be honest with you.
So that was like, when I was head coaching, you'd talk to parents or fans or whatever, and they would always vent about when teams would stall. And the response was, that's the best strategy as long as there's not a shot clock. If there's not a shot clock, we can kill a lot of time.
Yes.
Great block. Call is making things happen out here on that. While we were talking about milking the clock, he saved an offensive possession again with a rebound. Right here, he just deflected the ball. Great ball movement. Throws a touch pass out to Warner. Shot doesn't go in, but guess who's there? Call with the rebound. Call goes back up, and he draws a foul. A lot of energy from Call as soon as he comes into the game.
Word on the street is that Call has one of the best verticals on the team.
Oh.
The kids say that he can jump through the roof. So I think that you can see that there. He's getting up there and getting those rebounds away from everybody else.
He's got impeccable timing too. He's jumping he's jumping before anybody else even thinks about jumping. First free throw's up and in for Call, and that breaks a drought of about 2.5 minutes with no points for either team. I don't think Hurricanes scored yet in this quarter, and that's it's the third point this quarter for the Warriors. Simmons checks back into the game, so we'll have Simmons and Call playing together, and as Simmons checks into the game, Iloa checks into the game as well. The other thing, going off what we were just talking about, Brian, with long offensive possessions, how it's really hard to play defense for long periods of time, it also kind of has a psychological effect on teams, because if you've been playing for defense for 1 or 2 minutes, when you get on offense, you can't wait to go shoot the ball, and so then you go and shoot quickly, and now you don't have to, the other team doesn't have to play defense very long and gets to play offense for a really long period of time.
That's true. It's kind of like a long scoring drive in football where the other team just keeps running it, and you can't stop them. Gets really frustrating and tiring.
Yeah. Another rebound for Simmons, and Munson brings the ball down the floor. Ball screen from Simmons, who looks to roll to the basket. Munson still attacking off the dribble, kicks out to Call over to Paladis. Paladis to Simmons at the top of the key, looks for Call inside, swings it over to Warner to the perimeter. Ball goes to Call at the top, looks for Simmons, instead swings to Munson. Ball screen from Munson, great pocket pass from Munson. Call with a bucket on the assist from Munson. That was a beautifully developed play. That ball moved side to side multiple times. It went inside out, and we ended up with a layup off of a little screen and roll pick action.
Like you mentioned, Call has a really good nose for the ball. He knows where to get, where the ball's going to come off, where the pass is going to come into him from.
Simmons caught off guard thinking that Iloa was going to kick that ball out, and instead he takes a step and shoots kind of an off-foot, wrong-foot three-pointer, or not three-pointer, layup, little runner. Warner with the ball now, moves it over to Paladis. Paladis into Simmons. Simmons is double team, goes up through the double team, misses it, but Call at the rim with the tip-in. And just like that, Call is the second leading scorer on the team behind Munson's 2 3-pointers.
If you ever have a chance to watch the JV games, Call is a standout player. He really really does a good job.
He and Caleb Anderson Foreman form a pretty dynamic duo at the JV level for their size and skill inside. The Warriors on defense now. Hurricane looking to move the ball around the perimeter and find that mismatch. Simmons with the went for the ball fake. Not sure Simmons needs to ever jump to block a shot right there.
And probably good to stay on your feet. Don't get off your feet on those.
That's something I'm sure he's been coached about that, but that's a 6'10" player in a high school level can probably stand on the ground and put their arms in the air and contest the shot as much as they could if they jumped.
I've been really impressed with Owen Iloa. He's only a freshman.
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
6'4" freshman. He's playing really well right now.
Yeah, he plays with confidence.
Yeah, he's not shy at all. And just speaking of him, he knocks another one down. It's his 6th point of the game. Munson brings the ball down the perimeter, attacks baseline, and a quick foul will be called on Kevin Bunn. Looks like Munson's seeing he's doing something that I like a lot, which is he's attacking to create space, not necessarily to score. And because Hurricane's trying to apply a lot of pressure, and so he's attacking to get past the defender, but then slowing down, causing the defender to run into him. And he's beat his defender a few times off the floor, and now they're putting their hands on him, which is what that foul was called for. Unfortunately, misses that first of the 1-and-1.
I feel like Munson has the ability to take over a game, but he's really unselfish. He distributes the ball a lot.
Great defense from the Warriors. Will Warner sets up and draws the charge. He's actually there well before the offensive player came. He was almost trying to force that offensive attacker to kick the ball out to the perimeter, and he just didn't do it. And so that is Bunn's second foul, both of them called relatively quickly. 2 minutes to go before the half, and the Warriors lead by 5. Still a low-scoring game right now. Hurricane requiring long offensive possessions. Ball's entered to Simmons. Simmons with a nice reverse spin move. Pad those stats a little bit. He gets a rebound and a bucket right there and extends the lead to 7 for the Warriors. Pilatus defending at the top of the key. Now the ball's moved over. Warner's the defender. Down into the corner, back to the perimeter, and Iloa attacks and drops it to a teammate at the elbow. Ball's moved to the wing. Attack baseline. Turnover. Warner recovers it. May have gotten away with a double dribble right there. We'll see.
That was hard to tell on that.
We have to watch the replay. It
looked a little weird.
Looked like he dribbled the loose ball and then picked it up, but they let him have that dribble. Munson with the ball. Call sets the ball screen. Munson thought about shooting it, instead swings it over to Simmons. Simmons over to Warner, and now a ball screen. Warner swings it to Call. Call looks at Simmons inside. Ball screen for Pilatus. Pilatus rejects the screen. Looked like he had the advantage, but lost his footing. And in an attempt to just save the turnover, he tries to throw it under the basket, and Hurricane recovers it. Hurricane pulls up for a quick 2 from the elbow, and that is Luke Wright who hits the jumper. And some quick pressure, some unexpected pressure from Kenneth Moore creates an unforced error, a turnover for the Warriors. So with the minute to go, Hurricane's looking to shave into that 5-point lead, or deficit, I mean. And Lyon checks back into the game for Pilatus.
The longer Snow Canyon lets Hurricane hang around, the more difficult it's going to be, because they're just gaining confidence as time goes.
Something I'm noticing here. Oh, nice block by Will Warner. Great defense. And he recovers it, and he's in transition. He slows it out at the top of the key. Simmons sets a drag screen. Warner looked like he may have been trying to throw an alley-oop.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. It almost looked like he was going to lay it in, and then saw lineman out of his corner of his eye and said, I'll throw it up to him.
I think that was it. I think he thought he did pull 2 defenders, but he didn't know that a third defender had dropped in underneath lineman right there. And so it created a little bit of a cluster underneath the basket. 1-and-1 attempts for Hurricane. 40 seconds to go in the quarter, and Walker Morrison is set to check back into the game, and he is going to spell Zach Call, who gave us some great minutes. I was gonna point out that that's not a normal. I know we have some players in foul trouble, but that's not a normal rotational shift for Zach Call. He earned himself a lot more time. That's a great lesson for any of the younger kids that are watching this broadcast. When you go in and just play within your role and make things happen, you earn yourself more opportunities to stay on the floor.
Yeah, he definitely stayed on the floor longer than probably was anticipated because he was playing so well.
So that would be somebody to look for in the second half to see if he gets in earlier in the game. Hurricane sinks both of the 1-and-1s. Now a 3-point lead with 40 seconds to go. The ball's inbounded to Munson. And Munson brings the ball into the half court and looks to initiate the offense. Drop pass to Lyon. Lyon swings it over to Warner. Warner attacking to the elbow. Kick back out to Morrison. Morrison swings it around. Hits Munson in the corner. Munson dribbles it around to the top of the key. Looks like we may be holding for the last shot. This was just a lot of movement to kill some clock and force Hurricane maybe into a couple of switches defensively. Munson attacking to the elbow, kicks out to Morrison. Morrison wide open at the top of the key. Shot is short. 2 seconds to go in the quarter. And Hurricane puts up a half-court shot that just about hits it. Falls off short. And Snow Canyon will enter halftime with a 3-point lead. So they were able to extend the lead by 1, but it's probably not what they were hoping for after they had it up to 7. We're going to take a break until about 2 minutes to go before the half. Stay with us. Welcome back to the jungle, ladies and gentlemen. We are coming back to you just at the end of halftime, Snow Canyon versus Hurricane. And Brian, what are some of our thoughts on that? By the way, we're on camera, Brian.
Oh, hey there. I'm just enjoying looking at Hurricane warm up there, thinking about life. So.
All right, so we were just talking during the dead time. You were mentioning that there's kind of two schools of thoughts. What are you hoping to see in this second half?
Well, I'd like Snow Canyon to play a little more loose. I'd like to see them push it a little more. The two schools of thoughts are you extend the offensive play and make them play defense longer, or you try to get more possessions than they do.
And you might not make, if you're not hitting shots, you get more shots, and then that gives you more opportunities to score.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we were mentioning is I would love to see kind of a hybrid of those. I would love some quick offensive possessions that are generated from great defensive stands. I would love it if we could get some deflections and some leak outs and some run outs and some easy buckets. And because when we were talking about the concern is if Snow Canyon comes out and starts running a quicker offense, but Hurricane stays disciplined and runs their long offensive possessions, then Snow Canyon gets antsy. Maybe they start playing into Hurricane. But if Snow Canyon can figure out a way, whether it's through long offensive possessions, through transition, whatever it is, if they can extend the lead to double digits, Hurricane's going to start to feel pressed a little bit, and they're going to start to force the issue a little bit on their end offensively, and that will create opportunities for Snow Canyon to open it up a little bit more in transition.
Yeah, Hurricane's definitely trying to slow the game down, trying to be a little more physical, quicker to the ball. I mean, they probably recognize they're a little outmatched, especially with Lyman. They don't, although their freshman's playing really well, they're still outmatched size-wise down low. So, to counter that, you milk the clock, you try and play scrappy, and limit Snow Canyon's possessions.
Yeah, it's kind of an adage of coaching. If the other team's more talented, then some of the things that you need to figure out a way to even the playing field. And one of the ways that it seems like Hurricane's trying to do that is to reduce the number of possessions, because now you don't need to beat a more talented team on as many possessions. You only need to beat them on a handful.
That's right.
Snow Canyon begins the second half with the ball. Early three-point attempt from Morrison. Great rebound and the dunk.
There we go. Hey, that's what we're talking about. A deep shot, and if it goes, great. If not, Lyman's there to clean it up.
Yeah, and I love that the shot came off of another. We talked about Munson kind of taking control of the game. He penetrated to the elbow, was looking for Simmons the whole time, but ended up kicking it out to Walker, and Walker took a great-looking three. Comes off just short, but Simmons is there for the board and the putback dunk.
Yeah, if Walker gets more opportunities like that, I would bet that they're going to start dropping.
I think he's antsy to get going. His play time was a little bit sporadic in the first half due to 2 early fouls called on him within the first minute and a half of the game. Hurricane run a nice offensive set. They baseline penetrate and throw a dump pass to the cutter down the middle. So the teams trade baskets to begin the second half, and Munson back across half court with the Warrior offense. Ball moves down to Pilatus in the corner. Pilatus enters it to Simmons. Simmons up to Morrison. Morrison to Munson. Munson attacks off the dribble. Ball's moved back over to Pilatus. Pilatus down to Simmons. Simmons in the post looking to make a move. Up and over the top. The ball comes just short off the front of the rim. And Hurricane with the rebound and back into the half court.
Lyman's a little off tonight. I think Hurricane's doing a nice job of frustrating him.
They're almost straight up triple teaming him, yet somehow they've got some quick players that are recovering on their defensive rotations. Turnover for the Tigers, and the Warriors are in their secondary break right now. Munson pulls around to the elbow, pump fakes, ends up putting up the shot, and he's off. Tigers with the rebound, and they are walking the ball up the floor. It's like Pilatus sprained his ankle. I think it's his ankle. I'm pretty sure
Hopefully
he was holding
it's his ankle and not his knee. I mean, looks like an ankle.
It looked like he was trying to grab his ankle. He was hopping around out there. Fortunately, Hurricane had decided to walk the ball up the court, and as is the rule in high school sports, if the referees see that a player is in imminent danger of being injured and it's not in the rhythm of an active play, they do stop the play to remove the injured player. Iloa with a three-pointer from out long, and Childs with the rebound. Munson kicks it down to Lyon. Lyon attacks, puts the ball up to Simmons. Simmons through
There we
contact, finishes. And hey, Lyman, I don't know him. I've seen him a few times in the hallway. I've just watched him and called these games. And he seems like a pretty reserved guy, but after that ball went in, he looked like he wanted to explode, but then he held himself back a little bit.
Yeah. Maybe as he gets older and becomes an upperclassman, he'll let that enthusiasm come out a little bit.
I wanted to hear a war cry after that. I wanted to hear him scream.
Pound his chest a little bit.
Yeah. So Simmons is going to take one from the free throw line right here. Shots rattles out.
That was a good-looking free throw. Just didn't want to stay down.
There was quite a scrum under there for the rebound. Childs got into it and ended up out of bounds afterwards, and it looked like he was a little frustrated. He came back in to try to rip the ball away, and he's called for a quick foul. That's 2 on Childs, which isn't a concern in the third quarter. Your second foul is fine at that point. Hurricane in the half court enters the ball to Cruz Gardner in the high post. Cruz faces up, attacks Lyman off the dribble, kicks it out to the perimeter. Ball moves around to the top of the key. There's that deflection, and Lyon almost speared the ref, but held up and held the ref up, and I think he appreciated that. Hurricane with the sideline inbounds. Snow Canyon elects not to pressure the inbounds and is now into their half-court set. Ball screen at the top of the key, looking for a screen and roll. Good switch for the Warriors. Lyman contests the shot. Lyon with the rebound, and he wants to run any chance he can get. He's always looking to get down the floor quick.
Yeah, he is, and then he's looking for an open window to take a shot, which I really like.
Munson with the drop to Morrison. Morrison over to Childs. Childs attacks deep into the paint. Gets it back to Lyon. Lyon with the ball screen from Simmons. Back out to Munson. Munson with the ball screen from Simmons. Swings it out to Lyon. Lyon from long range. It's a little long. And the Warriors, or the Tigers with the rebound and into the half-court offense. Just about halfway through the quarter, and the Warriors lead by 5. Simmons defending in the low post, an attack baseline. Ball's almost deflected by the Warriors back to the top of the key. Thrown out to the corner and it's deflected. Ball's moved back to the top of the key. Gardner looking to shoot, thinks better of it, moves the ball out to the wing. Warriors defending in the half court. This is one of those long offensive possessions we talked about, Brian. Looks like this is the Hurricane game plan right here, right?
Yeah, they're definitely trying to slow the clock down. Make Snow Canyon do exactly that. Extend it out and make them foul and give them the penalty. That's one of those frustration things. As a coach, you want to praise the heck out of your team for playing defense that long in a disciplined way. And you love Child's aggressiveness. He's trying to jump that screen. He's trying to make something happen, cause a little bit of havoc on the offensive side, but he's just a little bit too aggressive with the chest bump right there, and he's called it the foul. And as we mentioned, that seems to be Hurricane wants to wear you down until you commit a foul. Ball in the corner, swung back to the wing. Attack to the baseline side, back out to Gardner at the from the wing for a 3. Morrison with the rebound, looks for Munson. Munson advances the ball across half court. Simmons is isolated on the block. The ball is entered to him. He makes a quick baseline move, reverse pivot, loose ball. Morrison steps out of bounds, not a foul called on him. One of the things I would have liked to have seen, I loved that move from Simmons, but he went baseline and then he was turning back to the middle of the floor, which was a great move, but he tried to bring the ball back to his right hand, which meant that he had to bring it across the defender's arms to get the shot off. If he's able to develop his left hand a little bit right there with a little either baby hook or baby push shot, he's able to get that shot off without it getting blocked. Yeah, Hurricane definitely has Snow Canyon frustrated right now. There's no doubt about that.
Hurricane moving the ball around the perimeter, looks to enter the ball to the post, and Warner is going to be called for the foul on the entry pass, but that was a little reminiscent of Kevin Garnett back in the day. He never liked to see any shots after the buzzer, so the whistle's blown, shot goes up, and Simmons sent that ball in like the 5th row of the bleachers almost. And as we predicted early in the quarter, we're going to see Call enter the game. He was an energy spark for the Warriors in the first half. Simmons got lost on the rotation, and a layup for Hurricane. It looks like Hurricane's going to be given a delay of game warning. One of the rules.
Player pushing the ball into the stands.
Yeah, He hit the ball away from the Warriors so he can get down the floor. And number 10, Kenneth Moore for the Tigers. Looks like he had some blood on his hands, so he immediately has to leave the game. Oh. I don't know. He's showing the ref the cotton swab. I don't really know why. But it looks like he had some blood on his face, maybe a bloody nose. Warner brings the ball across half court. We got a 1-4 set for the Warriors. Simmons with the ball out on the perimeter. Munson had a cut baseline, but the ball goes to Warner. Warner to Call out to Lyon. Lyon with the three-pointer from the opposite wing. Say it again, Brian.
Boom goes the dynamite.
And boom goes the dynamite for the Warriors, extending the lead to 6.
That was a nice step back by Isaac there, create some space.
It was nice of him to move in space. It looks like Call and Simmons had gotten clogged up. They didn't read each other correctly. Ball moves down to Warner in the opposite corner. He looks hesitated a little bit.
Looks like Isaac's pretty excited. Looks like they maybe fouled him down low.
Foul is called on Luke Wright on the missed shot from Will Warner. Warner, the ball was advanced to him pretty quickly, and he had quite a bit of space in front of him, but it looked like he was trying to enter the ball to Simmons first and then decided to shoot. I think it threw him out of his rhythm a little bit.
Snow Canyon looks like they have some energy right now. If they can get a bucket on this possession, I think there's an opportunity to break this game open a little bit.
Yeah, this is like one of those, it's hard to describe momentum, but you can feel it. And this is like one of those almost momentums. It's like when you're watching a soccer game and there's like a goal developing and you can kind of see it. Great entry pass from Warner to Simmons.
They tried to call timeout. They gave him a jump ball.
It's going to be a jump ball, so that ball looks like it's going to go to the Tigers. That was a great entry pass from Warner. Simmons had his defender isolated on his back. Unfortunately, he tried to take a power dribble to establish better position, but the help side is called a dig step. The top side defender stepped down and swiped at the ball and got enough of it to knock it away from Simmons, and it ended up being a loose ball tie-up.
I love that you have the technical terms for it. I just call it being aggressive.
Yeah, go out there and hit somebody.
Yeah.
All right. Munson with the ball across half court. Hurricane misses the jump shot on their possession, and now the Warriors are in their offensive set. Munson putting some razzle-dazzle on.
Shot.
Hits a little fadeaway. It looks like he's trying to make something happen right now. You can kind of tell from the way he was carrying himself right there that he was tired of being a little bit passive, and he made something happen off the dribble right there. Hurricane attacks, Call defends, Warner with the rebound, and he's trying to lead a break. Hurricane does a good job of getting back. Ball's given to Call at the top of the key, kicks it out to Munson. Munson asking for a ball screen and then puts up the long three and drills it. We got to have another.
Taking over the game here.
Something else besides boom goes the dynamite. Hey, just like that, the Warriors with a minute and a half to go in the third quarter extend their lead to double digits for the first time in the game, 32-21. We're going to give a shout out to a couple of our sponsors again. Simply Wisdom Teeth, we make it simple. St. George Kids Dental, McMullen Legal Group, injury attorneys, the Brian Hickman Real Estate Team, Stapley Pharmacy and Richens Eye Center, and Holbrook Asphalt, St. George Dixie Motorsport, and Nets on Fire. Thank you to all of you for making this broadcast possible and for allowing us to bring the game to those of you who are unable to attend in person. Also, State Bake of Southern Utah. Love their ad right there. Good Luck Warriors, proud sponsor of our student athletes. And the Southwest Skin and Cancer. Thank you, all of you, for sponsoring this broadcast. And to Matt Hamlin, our producer, for making this possible. He shakes his head every time we thank him, but he's really the motor behind this whole operation. Coming out of the timeout, Brian, we talked about feeling some of that momentum. Are we feeling that right now?
Definitely, just like we talked about. Snow Canyon hit a couple of buckets there, and this is a critical point for Hurricane. If they can get a bucket on this possession, it'll slow it down a little bit, but if not, Snow Canyon can extend that lead.
It's a good timeout by Coach Langston. He could feel the momentum as well. One thing that I really like from what I've seen in the last 2 or 3 possessions, and even right now on defense, is I like what I'm seeing from Blake Munson. It looked like he kind of took it personally, that the game was as close as it was, and he he made some confident plays. He had a couple, crossover dribbles in front of his defender, then hit a step-back fadeaway, and then he points for the ball screen and then pulls the trigger from long range from the three. Starting to take some stuff over.
In the few games I've been able to watch, I really like watching Blake because he's got a little bit of an attitude and a swagger to him and a confidence. And I love seeing that in players regardless of sport.
Yeah, it's like we talked about in one of our previous broadcasts. It's like, are you a product of your environment? Is your environment a product of you? And Blake's making the environment happen right now. Ball's entered into Simmons right there. And, Simmons hasn't had his typical game right now. He's obviously still drawing most of the attention, and he has 10 points, so we see as in his typical game, he's still a double-digit scorer. And we'll call it a dunk. We'll call that a dunk. And he got fouled.
Yeah, that was maybe a WNBA dunk.
Yeah, he tipped it in. Hey, we're going to say he got fouled as he was dunking, so it decreased his elevation a little bit.
But he got it in. That's what counts.
Yeah. It counts the same, right? They're all worth 2. And he gets the foul, so he's going to get a free throw attempt here. Free throw is up and in.
And he's definitely shooting those free throws a lot better these last few games. He's getting more confidence there.
You know what? I got to correct myself. A second ago, I said he wasn't having his typical game, and we're sitting here near the end of the third quarter. He's got 13 points. That's probably right where he normally is.
My guess is he ends up in the low 20s again.
Close to 20. What I was going to say, though, is, Hurricane's clearly paying a ton of attention to him. That's something he's going to have to get used to for the rest of his basketball career, is people paying a lot of attention to him underneath. But the ball was entered to him, and I like how methodical he is, trying to make moves and make stuff happen. But he did a drop step into the middle of the paint where all of the help defense was, and that's what caused the tie-up for the jump ball, which eventually led to the dunk. But having a little bit more maybe some awareness of where that help is might help him to get some more one-on-one opportunities instead of having to go one-on-two with his post moves. Warner moves the ball out to Childs on the wing. Childs drops it to Morrison. Morrison gets to the elbow, puts up the shot and misses it, but Childs is there for the rebound, and Lyon pulls the ball out to reset the offense.
No students here to chant air ball.
Yeah, it sounded like a couple of parents tried to chant that, but that's not the same when the parents are chanting that at a high school kid. Warner with the shot, it's off, but Call is right there showing off that aforementioned vertical at the quarter. Snow Canyon moves from a 3-point lead.
Fired up.
Of course, Lyon is always fired up, but Snow Canyon moves from a 3-point lead at the half to a 14-point lead at the end of 3. So, and most of that developed near the end of that quarter. We felt that momentum shift right there. Shout out to a couple more of our sponsors, Levitt and Associates, the tax accounting and audit representation, Ants Dentistry, call Mark Ants today. And the other ones that we mentioned before, thank you to you guys as well. Boulevard Home and Hammond's Dental.
I'm going to shout out Buck's Ace Hardware.
Again.
I love the Ace Hardwares because I'll stop in at Bluff Street and I'll just go in and get a drink and a bag of popcorn. But unfortunately with COVID, they have to shut the popcorn machine down. So that's one of the things I'm hoping for to get through this so that Ace Hardware can have their fresh hot popcorn.
In the summers, you can find me at Ace Hardware pretty much every day scavenging for the next lure that's going to catch me my big fish. And of course it's the lure that I need to find, not my own fishing ability, right, to improve.
Plus it's always nice to support a local store, local businesses. All of our sponsors are local. And in today's environment, it's nice to give as much business as you can to the locals.
For those of you watching, number 10 for Hurricane, Kenneth Moore, he had to leave the game because he was bleeding early, and he looks like he has about a half roll of toilet paper up his nose right now to keep that blood from coming out. Love to see. He just wants to play, right? So he's like, one nostril's good enough for me. I can make this happen.
Well, he's used to breathing with a mask on, so he's probably even breathing better than normal.
So he's at least got his mouth available. Is that true that foul was called on? It says, Childs. Childs with his 4th foul in the game, so that's going to be something to pay attention to.
Looks like they're going to leave him in the game a little bit and just see how it goes.
This is hilarious. Childs deflects the ball out of bounds. He gives the ball to the referee, and then he goes and stands out of bounds, hoping that the ref will make the call to let Snow Canyon have it. Good defense from Childs as he fronts the post, and on the lob entry, Morrison goes to the backside and makes the steal. Warner with the ball, throws it out to Lyon. Lyon attacks off the dribble to the elbow, gives it to Childs. Childs jab steps and then eventually attacks, gives the ball to Morrison. Morrison to Warner. The Warriors are running this weave. Nice ball movement.
Get it in there. There we go.
Call gets about 6 rebounds on that play and then kicks it out. Oh. And Morrison's shot wedges in between the backboard and the rim. Good ball movement. That was a good find from Warner to Childs. I kind of wish that Childs would have gone with the reverse right there. He tried to go back with the right hand on the same side of the floor, but he had done a great job of sealing his defender, and there was nobody in front of him. If he goes with the reverse, the rim protects him from getting blocked, and he's able to lay that ball in.
I think sometimes Childs is such a great defender that he doesn't take shots that maybe he should on offense because he's unselfish and he's just a defensive-minded guy.
That's kind of his role, right? To be the strong physical presence. Great entry pass from Lyon. Simmons looks the opposite way, drop steps, lays the ball in the basket. And just like that, when I misspoke and mentioned that Simmons was not having his typical game, he's at 15 points. That was quite the athletic finish. We just gave Moore a shout out. He's the one with the nose plug in, and Lyon is. We love his energy, but he got a little too aggressive right there and jumped for a ball fake on the pass. More back cut, and on his way to the basket, Call went and met him, and they collided in midair. That ball went about 22 feet straight up in the air, and then came down through the basket.
Hurricanes going to the press now.
Hurricane into a full court press. They are down 15 in the fourth quarter. They're going to need to create possessions for themselves. So this is what we were talking about. We'll see if Snow Canyon can get some quick buckets right here if they want to slow things down. There's a quick bucket. Oh, a quick miss bucket. Call is fouled on that. We were wondering if that was going to be called, but ball's entered to Munson. Munson swings it over to Lyon, I believe. Lyon enters it to Morrison, and Morrison down to Call. Call goes for the layup and is fouled.
Call can jump high enough. He needs to just throw that down.
Just throw it down.
Good shot there.
Hits his free throw. He's nearing double digits with 8 points on the night. We've also got Simmons, who's got 15, Munson with 11. And we have not seen Pilatus re-enter the game since he left with an injury. And I don't see him on the bench.
I can see him. He's over on the trainer table with Dwan Shakespeare.
Can you tell if it's his knee or his ankle?
I can't tell. I can just see that he's getting worked on.
So we hope a speedy recovery for him. An almost travel right there by the Tigers as they come across. They're able to get the pass off without being called for the travel, though. Hurricane is clearly pressing the action a little bit more. They're going to need to create more quicker shots. Great defense by Morrison. And he's able to throw the ball up to Lyon in transition, and Lyon pulls it back out as Hurricane did recover. Hey, something for you viewers to look forward to. I know we promised this before, but in the future we will have the ability to have some instant replay on these broadcasts. So you could tell every week something you get from us is some improvement. We put the scoreboard on, we put the time on, and now we're gonna have replay. Munson loses the ball at the top of the key, and that leads to a fast break opportunity for the Tigers. The Tigers, Coach Langston is clearly frustrated. They got what they wanted, a turnover and a layup, and they forgot that they were supposed to press. He was pretty irate that they were not pressing. Ball's moved around on the perimeter, and a couple of bodies go to the floor. Foul on the Tigers on Jack Reeve. Looked like Lyon was the one that ended up on the floor, so he appears to be the victim of the foul. Morrison to inbound underneath, moves it to Munson. Munson enters it to Simmons. Simmons looking to make a move baseline. Looks like he moved his feet before he dribbled. And I think he shuffled both feet. That's what he did. He didn't hold his pivot. So a travel's called on the Warriors, and the Tigers have the ball in their half-court offense. Attack to the elbow, kick to the opposite wing. Lyon goes flying by, and now he's sprinting back to recover. Good hustle by him to recover to the opposite side of the floor. Snow Canyon is switching their screens on the perimeter once again, except for when it is the person that Simmons is defending. He's just staying under the basket to protect. Hurricane with an offensive rebound, a long two-point attempt. Doesn't catch anything. Call saves it instead of allowing it to go out of bounds. And the Warriors are back in the half court. Munson dribbles down, enters it to Simmons. Simmons kicks it to Morrison. Morrison from the top of the key. Three's a little bit long. Call fights for the rebound. It was Call versus 4 Tigers, and it was impressive that he was able to hold on to it for as long as he did.
Morrison gets his hands up on that and deflects it right over to Lyon. I don't know who that foul's on.
Good.
Oh, it's on.
That was on call. Yeah,
on call.
That was that was some good sportsmanship right there. There was, Call's going hard the entire time, and that was kind of a dangerous play in the game where the ball was up in the air and he went to grab it, but the Hurricane player beat him to it. And it looked like when Call landed, he was trying to wrench the ball away from the Hurricane defender, and he turned his hips.
Bowen Hammer just checked into the game for Zach Call. Bowen's a sophomore.
He got some time early in that first quarter, and then it's interesting to see him getting some time right now with Simmons. Got some size right there with both of those guys, just like we had with Call.
Lyon there with a poke away.
We've talked about this in previous broadcasts, but that's one of those things that sometimes coaches stat it, but it doesn't show up on the stat sheet. But just deflections are so demoralizing for the offense. Your offense is built on timing, right? Like when I set this screen, you cut here, I'll pass it here, and then I'll find you while you're cutting. But if a ball's deflected on the pass, now the cut and the pass are on a different timing schedule, and it just throws off the whole offensive set. So one of those things I love from Will Warner, Isaac Lyon, those kind of players, a lot of deflections defensively, a lot of offensive disruption.
Looks like they called a foul on a Hurricane player.
Yeah, they called it. That's Iloa. He just fouled out of the game. That's his 5th foul. It was an illegal screen called, and so he'll take a break for the remaining 4 minutes. As Snow Canyon leads by 15 halfway through the 4th quarter, Munson getting the ball across half court. Drop pass to Lyon. Lyon brings the ball to the top of the key, looking for Warner. Hurricane is clearly now trying to defend these deny these drop passes, and that's the answer right there. When the wing defenders start being over aggressive, you jab step up and back cut, and you should get layups. And I think Bowen Hammer was so excited that he made the right cut that he was already on his way up to shooting the layup before he gathered the ball. Now, luckily, he deflects the ball off of the Hurricane defender, and the ball goes back to the Warriors on the inbound. Simmons shoots from the elbow, gets his own rebound, makes a power move up and in. That's 17 for him on the night.
I wonder how many rebounds he has on the night.
Probably close to how many points he has as well. They're trying to isolate Warner on the block right there. He does a good job fighting over the top and not allowing the post-up to happen.
It'd be interesting to see the stats and see how many double-doubles Lyman has in the season.
Yeah, we could probably look. My computer died, but we could look up the stats and see what his average is for rebounds. He's probably averaging a double-double. Warner attacks, draws multiple defenders, is able to throw a dump pass to Simmons, and as Simmons was gathering and going up, he is fouled. And so that's something every coach loves, is when you get a shooting foul called when you're also in the 1-and-1. So we're going to shoot 2 free throws no matter what, and we're 1 closer to the double bonus, which will guarantee 2 free throws for the rest of the game. First free throw is short. Childs is going to check back into the game for Lyon. Simmons to the line for his 2nd free throw attempt. That one's good. And a timeout for Hurricane. That will be, they will have 1 remaining after this.
Just like that, it's an 18-point game.
18-point game, one of those things we talked about, and we've actually seen, and for those of you watching, more of our sponsors are on the screen for you right now. Once again, thank you to all of them. But one of the things we talked about, Brian, was that combination between patience offensively versus being extra aggressive, playing a little bit faster. It seems like they were able to do a little bit of both. Once Snow Canyon extended their lead a little bit, then Hurricane had to start pressing a little bit more, not just full court pressing, but pressing the action a little bit more. And now, unlike that first quarter when it seemed like Snow Canyon was playing Hurricane style of game, now Hurricane's being forced to play Snow Canyon style of game.
Yeah, and if you don't get a steal or some other type of turnover when you're pressing, it usually leads to bad things on the defensive end for the team pressing. Any
well-coached team, every press has a weakness, and there's ways to get to that weakness. So it's just, do you have the skill to execute the play effectively enough? And it seems like the Warriors do. Ball's deflected by Warner. We just talked about those deflections. Eventually stolen by Munson. Munson's bringing the ball across half court. Now it looks like the Warriors are entering into slow-down mode a little bit. 3 minutes to go with that 18-point lead like you were talking about. Bowen Hammer takes an extra step. He's called for the travel. This is that point in the game, though, Brian, where we talked about without a shot clock, a team may want to drag out those possessions a little bit because it is a game of possessions right here. Hurricane's going to need, 12 to 15 possessions at a minimum to close an 18-point lead. And if Snow Canyon can reduce the time on the clock, there's just not going to be enough possessions for Hurricane to pull this off. Brian, you've coached football. I've coached basketball and volleyball. We've both been involved in games where the score's been, the outcome's been determined before the end of the game. What's something as a coach that you look for in moments like this from players on either side?
Well, on the Snow Canyon side, the main thing is to just execute. Continue to execute. Don't make mistakes that could let them back into the game. On the Hurricane side, don't get frustrated and do something dumb. And trust me, I've been in a lot of those situations where when you're down that big, the frustration boils, especially when you're a competitor.
Yeah.
And you end up doing some things that, saying things or doing things that you shouldn't. And when you're a competitor, that happens. So just, on the Hurricane side, keep your cool.
I think you hit the nail on the head, especially the Snow Canyon side, execution. I want to see you still play the right way. So one of the things, I coached with Coach Roden for a long time, we would say, coach to a standard, not to a score. So regardless of what the score is, we want to play to a certain standard. Now, we might be doing different things on the floor depending on the score, but we still want to execute according to what our expectations are. On the other side, I like what you said. We don't want to lose our cool and make mistakes that way for Hurricane, but I also want to see some heart out of my players in this situation. Same thing, play to a standard, not a score. We're probably not going to win this game, but we have 2 minutes left to get better right now. So let's go out there and let's do some things that we need to get better at, whether that's taking care of the ball, executing offensively, rebounding, whatever it is. I want to see some of that stuff.
It looks like Snow Canyon's getting ready to empty the bench. Got a couple more.
We have Caleb Anderson Foreman checked in at the last dead ball, and we've got a couple more waiting at the scorer's table to check in.
Looks like Baker.
We got Baker and Miramontes are getting ready to go in.
A couple different fouls could be called on that one. A charge, a block, a reach.
Looks like Lyon, 22. Warner's going to be called for a reach in. And I'm sure Caleb Anderson Foreman's not totally excited about that since he was in great position to take a charge. And he dealt with the charge except for the reach-in foul that already occurred.
And Bryson Baker does check in, as well as Jesse, number 24.
Looks like this is a JV lineup that we saw end the JV game. And that free throw goes in for Kevin Bunn for Hurricane. It's his 3rd point on the night.
Looks like a couple sophomores are about to check in. Number 3, Cy Meacham, and number 4, Hamlin.
That's going to be the Hamlinator, son of the Hamlinator.
Says it on his license plate, Hamlinator.
Is
that like the Baconator?
Yeah. Better, I think. The free throw was missed, and there was a scrum for the rebound. The ball is deflected off the Warriors, and Bunn puts in another couple of buckets. Hey, I'll tell you this. This was kind of like, these were my glory moments when I was in high school basketball. I was kind of an end of the bencher. Sometimes I would get in early in the game. I would often get in at the end of the game. And I would talk to my coach. I love, is that Jesse?
That was Jesse.
I look for my shot during this point every minute. And then I would say, Coach, I played 1 minute and 10 seconds and I put up 4 points. If you stretch that out over a 32-minute game, I'm looking at 96 points a game right here. You got to get me in the game more often. It didn't work, but he laughed. Which I guess maybe I should have been insulted at the laugh, but
hey, if you don't fight for yourself, nobody will.
Exactly. I like to tell people that all that time I spent on the bench watching the way that the other teams played allowed me to become a coach later on in life. Meacham enters the ball to Anderson Foreman, back to Meacham, over to Hamlin. Hamlin up to Baker. Baker attacking, drop pass to Miramontes. And Hurricane hedged that drop. They were anticipating the play. A foul is called on Moore. And Miramontes will shoot 2 from the line right now. Just under a minute to go, and Snow Canyon leads by 17. First one's up and in. One of my favorite things about high school sports is when you get, a JV player who doesn't see a lot of varsity time, when he gets in the game and they put a bucket in. Did you hear what the bench does at that point?
No, I didn't hear that.
They cheered as loud for that point as any other basket in this game.
Well, all these guys work hard, and so, when you love your teammates, you get just as excited for them as you do for yourself.
Well, and that's one of the things that I think is lost on a lot of people sometimes is, fans, parents, students, they watch the games, so they see the kids that are getting the playing time. But what's going on every day in practice is those kids are competing against these guys. These guys, it's their job to make the varsity team better. And that's one thing we stressed a lot. I was fortunate enough to be a part of a state championship team in 2016 with the girls program. And one of the things that we felt like was our biggest strength was the quality of our JV team that pushed our varsity team, so that by the time they played their opponents, they had seen everything and they had witnessed, or they had played through every possible scenario that could have happened.
Well, not only that, but then if you're the JV guy and you get your opportunity, you're just that much better to fill the role of the guy ahead of you. Next man up mentality.
You've been playing against a varsity level team every day in practice. 17 seconds left in the game. Baker at the line. First one up and in. Getting ready to shoot his second.
See if they can get to this to a 20-point lead.
The pressure was too much. Off the front of the rim. Foul called on the rebound. And Brian White, I make it a goal of mine to, I appreciate the referees. We couldn't play the games without them, and they do their best all the time to call what they see. But do you ever wonder if they call the game slightly differently when different players enter the game at this point?
I don't know if it's so much as different players, but maybe with the score being as it is, you kind of, the human nature of you makes you lean towards the team that's losing a little more, and so you're, maybe give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I just wonder about that, because on that last rebound, it's like I think we've seen that play 150 times tonight, and it was never called a foul before that. But hey, Brian, it's been a pleasure. Congratulations, Warriors, on that 19-point win. What's your big takeaway from this game, Brian?
I felt like the Warriors started out slow. Hurricane had a good game plan. As the Warriors loosened up and started making some shots, they got into a rhythm. It's always good to get a win. It doesn't matter with the records when you're playing a region foe. Get a win and move on.
Yeah, I like it. I think it was a get-right game for the Warriors. They battled through a little bit of sluggish play early, came out strong, especially in that third quarter, and extended that lead. For Brian Hill, I'm Ryan Rarick. Thanks for tuning in and watching the game. Be on the lookout for our next game, and tell all your friends. See you, Warriors.
Have a good night.